So we're on the road right now, heading over to Dodge City. We're going to be picking up our next delivery from there and delivering to one of the other cities that we have yet to discover. I'm doing it this way because Dodge City was seriously right down the street from the last town we were at, which was Garden City, and trying to puzzle out a way to make 100-mile deliveries and hit all of these. It made more sense to drive over here, pick something up, and then drop off somewhere else. So we'll polish off 2 towns with this one delivery for both the Discovering Kansas achievement and the live event. Dodge City itself is a pretty interesting history. This is, I guess, Dodge City you could call the epitome of cowboy towns from the Old West. It was whoa, slow down, don't hit that guy. It was established back in 1872. There was a year before that, there was a guy who had set up a sod hut, just this little place to watch over his cattle. And then people started gathering there, and in the next year, and there's Dodge City discovered. That gets us to 10 cities discovered. We also, this is going to be a busy thing. You know what? I'm going to talk about Dodge City after I finish the pickup, because we've got a lot going on here. We got a photo op coming up. We do have a viewpoint that's also coming up. I'm going to get both of those before we move on to picking up the delivery. So we'll talk about Dodge City. What was that? Looked like a horse. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit after we pick up and start moving on, because there's a lot to talk about with this place. It's a pretty cool town. And here is our photo op. The historic Santa Fe Depot, huh? All right, well, we want to try and there's a train coming right through here at the same time, so this is actually pretty good. Let's give this, get Dodge City right there in the frame. That's pretty nice. I'm gonna straighten out the weather a little bit too. All right. And that is quite nice. All right, perfect. Now that takes care of that. We've got a question mark right up here as well. This is a dense little city. Lots of stuff happening in here. Or is that a... Nope, that's an international dealership. I thought this would be a... Let's swing in here and pick it up. I figured this would be a recruitment agency. We're just gonna go right across here. We're not doing the roads. There we go. Perfect. And then just a little further up, we've got our viewpoint. We'll see what that has to show us in a couple of minutes. All right, we got ourselves a scenic overlook here, and it looks like, oh, that's definitely a big farm, which I expect is what this is going to be like. Let's see what we got. Uh-huh. Dodge City. I do find it amusing that this Old West cowboy town has a windmill farm going on over there. But we've got an extensive railway, Global Mills. There's the depot that we just took a picture of, and there's some more of those grain elevators in the back. I think every town must have those. And just a there's a cow statue, which makes sense based on the history. All right, very nice. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and pick up a job real quick, and I will be right back. All right, so I found a pretty interesting job. We're going to be taking a, oh boy, what is it? It's a forage harvester. Yeah, that's what it was. It was something I hadn't really heard of before, a forage harvester. And we're taking that over to Pittsburg. Oh, and you know what? Let me take a picture of this Dodge City sign because that is very cool. All right. There we go. Perfect. All right. That might make a good thumbnail. Yeah, so we're taking a forage harvester over to Pittsburg, which is basically all the way over on the other side of the state. So this is going to be a nice long drive today. Once we pick up, I'm going to go ahead and tell you everything I learned about Dodge City, and then I think we're just going to kind of get into mellow mode and drive across the state, and I might comment here and there on interesting things I see, but we'll just soak up the scenery along the way. And then when we get up near Pittsburg, I'll jump online and take a look at what sort of interesting things there is for that place, other than the fact that it's got the same name as Pittsburg, Pennsylvania, which is a city I have been to. All right, and there is our forage harvester. Very nice. All right, I'm just going to pop out on the map real quick and see if there's anything interesting to see along the way, and I'll be right back. All right, well, there is not anything interesting along the way, so this is going to just be no viewpoints or anything like that, no question marks in Pittsburg, so this is just going to be a straight-up drive. This is a pretty cool trailer. If you didn't notice there, it is an articulated trailer. Look at the size of that thing. That's a cool looking machine too. It's got some nice tire track, like tank treads looking thing on there. Nice stuff. All right. All right. Once we get ourselves onto the highway, I will tell you everything that I learned about Dodge City. And as I said, it's a pretty cool town. And did I just hit that car? I did. Well, he shouldn't have been there. That was his own fault for parking so close to the line. So those who do not know, in the United States, you are allowed to go right on red when you stopped. So I came to a stop and I took my right. All right, good enough. So let's talk about Dodge City. So I think I'd started to say is that in 1871, a guy moved out there and built like a little sod hut to, I can't remember his name, but it's okay, just to keep an eye on his cattle, because there was a lot of cattle in this area. That's pretty cool. That's a nice power station. Yeah, so in 1872, people started moving in, and it was becoming a little more popular, and the city itself was actually founded in 1872. And one of the first little interesting things is that in Dodge City, the first bar in a tent was established with the purpose of serving alcohol to soldiers from Fort Dodge, which was nearby. Which I thought was kind of amusing, because Dodge City has a bit of a reputation for being a rough old west town. So it did gain that reputation. It became known as like what you would call a true frontier town. It was very much the Wild West, where anything would go. And at one point, they had more gunfighters working there than anywhere else in the West. Gunfighters would be people that you hired to, bounty hunt, or I think they would also drive cattle and things like that too. They were kind of like cowboys for hire. Other interesting things is that agriculture continues. Cattle continues in this area. The big industries currently are meat packing and farming, livestock raising, crops, and also farm manufacturing, meaning they build tractors and things like that there. So everything is very, very farm centric. What made this town known as a cattle town early on was that they used to have these things called cattle drives, where they would drive cattle long distances along these established trails to bring the cattle places to sell them. And one of these trails was called the Great Western Cattle Trail, and that trail ended at Dodge City, which was one of the primary reasons that it started to grow so quickly. I think right around in 1883 and 84, it took off population-wise, and it grew very rapidly. And yeah, as I said, to this day, it's very cattle-centric. And it even has a bustling tourism industry. It's like chances are most of you have heard of Dodge City, and it has a sizable tourist trade that goes on, all centered around the fact that it was this old west town. So ranches, things along those lines for people to do. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But it looks like we've got another 260 miles in this drive heading across Kansas into Pittsburg. And so I'm going to go ahead and shut up for a little while and just drive, and we'll enjoy the scenery. If I see something interesting, I might pop in. Otherwise, I will catch you on the other end of this delivery. All right, so we have a rest area coming up on the left, and we are going to have to actually stop in here because my guy is yawning all over the place, and he is going to fall asleep really soon. So we are going to swing in here. We're going to get some sleep. We'll go ahead and fill up the gas tank too because, yeah, I just turned red. We'll fill up the gas tank too because that is getting very low, and we'll finish up after that. Let's swing in over here. Nope. There we go. Right there. All right, and it is dark out now. Can't see a thing. Let's get some fuel, and then we'll get back out onto the road. Oh boy, this is going to be tight. Oh. Looks like they got a special... Alright, we can pull a nice U-turn over here and straighten out and headed to those. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, that's a bit too tight. Let's see if we can get that a little straightened out. There we go. Ooh, looks like I damaged the trailer a little bit doing that, but it's okay. We'll just pull in here, fill up, and then we'll back out. All right, $480 to fill that up. That's a bargain. It was costing me that much to fill up my car. Like 6 months ago, so not too bad. And there we go. Oh, I think I just ran over somebody. This is going to be rough. All right, nice. And go over here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nice. These articulated trailers can be kind of interesting to drive. And let's head back out on the road. All right. And once we get moving, I'm going to take a look and see if we can see that moon. They had added the moon to the skybox recently, so let's see if we can see it. We got a lot of stars in the sky, but I do not see a moon. Maybe another night. So I had mentioned earlier that I would look up information on Pittsburg and talked about how it's a different town than Pittsburg, Pennsylvania, which is one that I actually do know. But one of the interesting things I learned while reading about it is that it is actually named after Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. So Pittsburg, Kansas was established in 1876 along a railroad line, which is very common for that time as cities sprouted up around the railroad. And it was named after Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. If you look at old maps from that time, it was actually shown as New Pittsburgh on the maps, but the name is Pittsburgh. The big industry in this area would be coal mining. The first coal mine was started in 1879 by a couple of people in that area, and since then coal mining has been a staple of that area. The Pittsburg and Midway Coal Company was founded there. It became one of the the oldest running coal companies in the U.S. The headquarters was eventually moved over to Denver, Colorado. They ended up being owned by Chevron, and then they were merged with another mining company called Midway. There's Pittsburgh discovered. But yeah, so coal mining is a big. Let's see, are we going to make that light? Yes, we are. Awesome. So coal mining. And it is named after Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which I did get a chuckle out of. All right, we are getting very close to our destination where we can drop this trailer off. I don't think we're going to have any parking because usually when you get these articulated trailers, they just have you pull straight in. And there's no difficult backing up parking because, backing up something like this would be a real pain because every articulation point you need to account for, and just trying to move something around like this, we'd be sitting here for 2 hours while I try to figure it out. So all right, yeah, and they do not offer the fancy parking, so we'll just do that one, which is right over here. And it will, even though this is the simple parking, it's going to still be tricky trying to get a trailer this long to be straightened out by the time I get to the end of this. So let's see if it'll work. Otherwise, I may have to back this up a little bit. There we go. Perfect parking. All right, let's see how we did. All right, we earned ourselves quite a bit of money here, 16,000. We got almost 800 experience, which brings us halfway to level 8. We're starting to earn a little bit more. That's pretty darn good. All right, that was a pretty good delivery there. We are now 11 out of 14 for both discovering and dropping off cities. That's pretty good. I think maybe in the next 1 or 2 episodes we will finish up those those 2 achievements, and then it'll just be running around doing the finding hidden roads, finding the remaining viewpoints, and then doing those special deliveries involving the salt mine and the aviation depots over in Wichita or something like that. So that ought to be pretty fun. All right, until next time, this is Ken with Covenant Gaming. I ask you to like, subscribe, hit the notify bell, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.